Hello and welcome to our video today on compound interest. So our main learning objective is to be able to calculate compound interest in a variety of questions. Let's have a look at the first thing here, which is what is compound interest? What do we mean by compound interest? Well, if I've got £1,000 in a savings account, for example, and I've got 5% interest added in 1 year, I end up with 5% being calculated as £50, and I add that to the amount. So at the end of year 1, I've got £1,050 in the account. With compound interest, we then work out 5% of that 1,050. Which we work out as being £52.50, and we add that to the account. So with compound interest, the interest gets more every time because it's the percentage of what you've got in the account, and it accumulates. So we end up with £1,102.50 in the account after 2 years. Now, let's have a look at two different examples. We're going to do calculating compound interest without a calculator, and then we're going to look at a formula that we can use with a calculator. So if we're calculating without a calculator, this is what we will do. Here's the question. You invest £900 in the savings account for 3 years with a 3% compound interest rate. How much money do you have in the account after 3 years? Well, this is what we would do. We're starting with £900, and we're going to calculate in year 1. We'll start off by working out 1% of 900, and to do that without a calculator, of course, you divide the 900 by 100 and you get £9. So for 3%, we can multiply that by 3 to get £27. So 3% of £900 is £27. So at the end of year 1, we now have £927. And what we do next to calculate year 2's figure is we work out 1% of 927. If we divide that by 100, everything moves 2 places to the right, as we've seen before. And so 1% of £927 is £9.27. 3% will multiply the 927 by 3, and we get £27.81. What we do next is very, very important. We add that £27.81 onto the 927, and we get £954.81. And what we do is we start again. We work out in year 3 1% of £954.81. Now, as you'll notice here, I've rounded up to the nearest penny. Because we're using money, we're using 2 places of decimals. So if I was to divide £954.81 by 100, I'd get 9.5481. So look at the 8, and around that second digit up to second decimal place up to a 5. So then I multiply my £9.55 by 3, and I get £28.65. And then I add the £28.65 onto the £954.81, and so at the end of 3 years, I've ended up with £983.46 in the account, and that is with a 3% compound interest rate for 3 years, based on a £900 saving at the beginning. So that's working out compound interest without a calculator. Find 1%, multiply it, and then carry on doing the same thing each year. But what happens if you get a question that is with a calculator? Well, you could do exactly the same way as we've just done, but with a calculator. But there is a formula that you can use. So here's another question. Interest is calculated up front on a loan of £10,000 at 4% compound interest over a 4-year term. So this is the sort of thing that lenders will do. They'll charge you the 4% interest per year, or whatever the interest rate is per year, and they'll add that as a compound interest at the beginning of the loan, and then base your installments upon that. And then we get this formula. Now, it looks complicated, but if I break it down, you'll find it's not as difficult to work out as you think. The formula is written like P equals A, and then inside the brackets 1 plus R divided by 100, close brackets, to the power of P. And you're wondering, what on earth is that on about? Well, P is your total value of the loan over the 4 years. A is the initial amount, R is your interest rate, and T is the number of years or the terms of the loan. So A in this case is £10,000. That's a good start. R is 4%. T is 4 years. 400 years would be a long time. It's 4 years. Okay, we're looking at. And then we put all those figures into this formula. So we end up with P, which is what we're looking for, equals 10,000. Then we've got bracket 1 plus 4 divided by 100, all to the power of 4. Let's see what that breaks down as. Well, inside the bracket, if we do 4 divided by 100, it becomes 0.04. So what we do is we add that to the 1, so we end up with 1.04. If we had 10%, it'd be 1.1. If it was 15%, 1.15 to the power of 4. So if we break that down even further, P equals 10,000 times 1.04 times 1.04 times 1.04 times 1.04. You may have the index function on your calculator, but in the exam you may not have it. So I would recommend you multiply the 1.04 by itself 4 times. And if you put all that on your calculator, you end up with this figure of £11,698.59, and that is on a £10,000 loan at 4% compound interest over a 4-year term. I hope that's helped you with understanding how to calculate compound interest, both without a calculator and with a calculator. Thank you for watching. I hope you found that very helpful. Thank you.